You did it. You made it to Friday. Even with all the heat advisories, it's been like living in an armpit this week, but you made it. The heat advisories are going to end tonight, I think. Question mark. Well, it is the Chris and Amy show, and Chris Ranji is on assignment. So right now, we've got, I know you're going to say Hancock and Kelly. We actually have Kelly and old turkey sticks himself, Braxton Payne, filling in. So I am going to feel like quite the Republican today.
Hey, how about you and I both shedding our dead weight for the day? I was able to dispense of Hancock.
Yep.
Even when he was in town, I was unable to dispense of him, and you were able to dispense of Ranji. This is quite an accomplishment. What a way to start a holiday.
High five.
Hey now. Hey
Michael
now.
Kelly over there, Braxton Payne. Thank you for listening. And of course, if you're listening on 11:20 a.m., you can always check out the FM signal 98.7 or, as Ranj likes to point out, 102.5 HD2. You can also listen on the Odyssey app. Listen seamlessly wherever you go throughout your day. And don't forget, on the Odyssey app, we have the KMOX page, and right smack dab in the middle of it is our mic feature. You can leave us a voice message whenever the spirit moves you to do so, which we feel like might be a lot today. And also, anything you miss on the show, you can listen to on the Chris and Amy Show podcast.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
Hey, it finally happened. The sit-down interview with Kamala Harris. Tim Walz was there, too, on CNN. We'll get the thoughts of Braxton Payne and Michael Kelly. Also, in the St. Louis County, the county council looking into Sam Page's job or volunteer job as an anesthesiologist. And the Cardinals beat the San Diego Padres yesterday 4-1, and Mizzou football absolutely obliterated Murray State in their season opener 51-0. That should be illegal, but go Tigers. Way to go. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Good.
Great.
All right.
Did you stay up and watch a football game?
The football game?
Yeah, the Mizzou game.
I did not.
Well, it started at 7, so it couldn't have ended that late. What time do you go to bed?
Yeah, who'd they play?
Murray State Racers.
The Murray State Racers.
Yeah.
I mean, is that even fair, or are they even in the same classes?
Yeah, I think they're in the OVC, so they're the same league as SEMO and Lindenwood actually now. So
I just think these games where these teams go and they know they're going to win and it's going to be 70-0, I think they're silly, and I don't think that's helpful.
I think Murray State wants to do it, right? Isn't that the harder pull, is to get the good teams to play the lesser teams?
So those schools pay the big schools to play them. So it's exposure for them to help with recruiting and all those types of things. I mean, sometimes they've paid schools millions and millions of dollars to play them in these early games, or even, one of those off weeks where it's not a conference game.
Okay, I want to get to what everyone's talking about. Everyone who's anyone. I don't know. There's the interview yesterday, the sit-down interview with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Dana Bash on CNN. And like I said, I'm glad I have you two Democrats here that I can talk to and ask questions. And I'm just going to jump right in with my first question that I didn't have until I watched the interview. It didn't seem odd to me that Tim Walz was going to be there. When everyone said it's going to be the dual sit down, I'm like, okay. But once I watched the interview and saw him there, why was he there? It felt like Yoko Ono almost, like let her do her thing.
Yeah. So one of the things, this is normal for after a convention. I mean, this happens for every major party since I can remember, from Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Sarah Palin, John McCain, even J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. After the convention, when their vice presidential nominees announced, they do a dual sit-down interview. This is a very different time, as she's just become the nominee in the past month or so. So she hasn't done her own solo interview yet. That'll come. It's being talked about a lot in conservative media circles. I don't think it's a big deal to the general public. If it is, then they would have done it by now. But it comes to the interviewer. So Dana Bash it was her option to mainly only speak to Vice President Harris. So if she would have done more of a dual interview, what is more traditional, I think it would have been different if it wasn't the first interview that she's done outside of, talking straight to the American voters.
I thought it was fine. I didn't. I agree with Braxton. I think they were, they're on this bus tour together. So it would make sense that they would have a conversation. In fairness to Dana Bash, it was the first time that they even had an opportunity to interview Kamala Harris. And of course, you're going to focus on the presidential candidate and not the vice presidential candidate. I think she did fine. And I don't know why they're protecting her. I would continue to put her out there because at the end of the day, I don't know that what comes out of Kamala Harris's voice or matters, and that it really comes down to the stark difference that she portrays from the times of Donald Trump and where she's at right now. I mean, I loved watching the criticism this morning of, oh, she's so liberal on this, she's so liberal on that. She actually sat and answered some questions. There was an adult dialogue about issues that take place. That's not happening when in an interview with Donald Trump. And I think that's what is helpful that comes out of these interviews. And that's why I hope they continue to push her out there more.
And that's interesting because I saw it as a strategic move to wait as long as humanly possible to push her out there, because whenever you're going to give an interview or debate, whatever it may be, it's going to provide fodder for your critics. And even if you're confident in how she's going to answer, but the thing is, Trump can't help himself. So if she could wait as long as humanly possible to get as much Trump ranting and raving as possible, and then have this interview just before it gets super suspicious that she's not speaking. To me, that was a strategic move because Trump can't help himself.
Yeah. And one of the things Amy, I don't know if this is normally the case. I was confused about a lot of the conservative criticism of it being pre-taped, a pre-taped interview versus a live interview. I don't really remember many times of these interviews or any interviews. I mean, a lot of times they're on 60 Minutes or they're on, the nightly news, that they're not pre-taped. I mean, I don't quite understand. I guess what I'm getting at is, can you help explain why that is such a big deal in conservative circles?
I think it's a big deal because it's what Donald Trump said. At the end of the day, every one of his interviews on Fox News that shows up is pre-taped. They have been. He doesn't do the live interview. Now he calls into Fox and Friends and bloviates and does what he does there. But most of his interviews with Fox is taped. I think it's just a side show of what these folks are spun up about. And I think if they continue, if Kamala Harris and her campaign just continues to put her out there answering questions, even when they're uncomfortable, even when she's got to retract a position that maybe she had 4 years ago, I think she's winning because of the difference between the way it's being handled by Donald Trump.
So I would say this and push back because I'm not Trumpy, but I am a Republican. I am a conservative, and I watched Kamala Harris, the candidate in 2019. I watched Kamala Harris, the candidate, who dropped out. In 2019, and how she dropped out, and then Kamala Harris, the vice president, right, in 2020. She was not a great candidate. She was not a great speaker. She was not good when challenged or when she was in the hot seat. Now, I'm saying I get it. That was 5 years ago. But I think for me, because I already have doubt going into it, saying I want to see her live in the moment, right? There's something about live that I know pre-recorded, even taped as live, right? But there's something about live where I want to see her in the hot seat. I want it to be live. I want to see how she responds in that moment, and also have the feeling that there's, I had to look, is there going to be any editing to smooth things out? How does the editing going to work? And not in a conspiratorial way, but just in, edited for time. Well, if you edit for time, sometimes you take out the least captivating moments. Well, okay, I want to see those. So I would say for me, not being just following whatever Donald Trump says. That's not me. I would have liked to see her live because I haven't seen that yet.
You're going to. Yeah. And look, I worked on a presidential campaign. I traveled around with Congressman Dick Gephardt for a couple of years while he ran for president. And the one thing that was true in 2004 to today is what these folks do when they're running for president is essentially the same thing over and over and over again, 20 times in a day. They're giving the same speech. The media is there to see the one or two things that they tweak and say differently. And I think what you're going to see from Kamala Harris is a disciplined campaign that she will be out there. She is out there, and she will say the same thing over and over and over again.
So just before we break, because there's a lot more I want to get to, and Dana Bash did bring this up, although I would have brought it up more directly, because I asked myself, if you were going to sit down with Kamala Harris, what's the first question you would ask her? Mm-hmm. Here's what I would ask. Because up until, a week before Joe Biden dropped out, she was still saying he's sharp, he's strong, he's awesome, he can do the job. I would say, Kamala, did you not know the extent of the president's mental decline? Or were you lying to the American people?
One of the things that has been pointed out by Joe Biden and by his advisors as well is that's not the reason he dropped out of the race. The reason he dropped out of the race is he thought he couldn't win. And he knows that this election and to keep Donald Trump out of office is something that is his legacy and that he wanted to ensure that happened. That's never been stated by the president, nor I think any of his closest advisors. So it should have been a question. Yeah, it's going to be a question. We have a debate on September 10th. I'm sure that's going to be a question. But that's been something that's been stated and continuing to be stated as he still is the president of the United States.
And do you believe that there was like some stark moment that she came to a realization that this guy, he's not capable of being president? I don't believe that. I think you can watch people deteriorate. I watched my own parent decline as time went on, still capable of being able to make decisions, still capable up until the very end to be in the job that they were in. I think that naturally we've all watched the president age and we've seen his faculties diminish, but that doesn't mean that he still wasn't able to do the job. And if we were to ask that, that's how I would answer that question, because I don't think it was like one day, that Joe Biden's a zombie. I feel perfectly fine right now with Joe Biden running this country for the remainder of these 4 months.
Yeah.
And I think him getting out was an acknowledgement of, I can't do this for 4 more years.
Yeah, that's where we would differ. I don't. And like I said, God bless Joe Biden because he gave his life, serving his country. That was his career. I respect that.
Right.
Even if I disagree, I respect that. I think it's a shame that this very weak, diminished version of Joe Biden is what people will remember. And I don't feel comfortable with him as president. And I think if they thought that Biden could beat Trump, they would have taxidermied Joe Biden and stuck him out there to beat Trump. And that bothers me.
I don't think that anyone's arguing with you, but at the same time, the alternative is somebody who started in an insurrection. I mean, there's weirdness on both sides here as it relates to how we've gotten to where we're at.
He's Michael Kelly. That's Braxton Payne. We're going to continue this conversation. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Your air conditioning system has been getting a real workout this summer. If it needs a little help, you can count on Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling. Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling at 314-968-9900 with 24-hour service nights and weekends for any emergencies and repairs. They do give free estimates as well if you need a whole new system. Right now, they're offering no interest for 5 years on new Lennox air conditioners, and that comes with a 10-year parts and condenser warranty. 314-968-9900 or online at comfortsolutionsstl.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles.
Highly logical.
Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
At KMOX, our focus is you, your go-to station for local news that matters to St. Louis and the region. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, dividing our nation. And I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
That audio from CNN, Dana Bash sitting down with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Okay, interesting quote, because she says the last decade, and Dana Bash points this out. Well, of that last decade, you guys have been the administration for 3.5 years. And she goes, well, it's kind of what started in the last decade. And I think that speaks to what she has either done or is trying to do, which is somehow be the face of change, even though she's the face of the current administration for the past 3.5 years.
Right. But I mean, look, I took it when she said we're, moving on from the past decade, is she's moving on from that era. And I think we would all agree, even when Donald Trump hasn't been in the White House, he has defined every aspect of our politic that we've been living in. And I think what she's offering is, let's just move the page from that. And it should not be a surprise that she's the hope and change agent. I mean, she's not Joe Biden. 2, she's female. 3, she's a person of color. I mean, this is some pretty big changes that are going on. And I think she is saying it's time to move on.
Well, let me ask about
Let's
this
get the old guys out.
With the, I mean, it feels like a new change. I mean, obviously it does feel different, but you're like, oh, wait, she's the current vice president. And she did talk about division. And Braxton, get your thoughts on this too, because nothing good happens when you put down an entire voting base. Like if you're a Democrat and you say like all Republicans are insane, right? Or like the basket deplorables, not great. Joe Biden has not been exactly the biggest uniter. I think of the overhaul and the voting rights bill. And he's like, if you don't vote for this, you're Jim Crow 2.0. You are the Confederates. I mean, the entire Republican Party, that was not a voice of uniting. That's a pretty big divisive statement.
Yeah, and one of the things, Joe Biden leading up to this election in 2024, as Donald Trump still views it as a base election, appealing to the base, making sure you draw out your base electorate and winning that. So the difference of Harris is the unity. And I saw some recent polling is, if I was a Trump advisor, he polls, 15, 20% on people who trust him more to handle the economy and immigration. And those are the two issues that he polls higher in. But the fact that Vice President Harris polls higher in who's going to bring about the needed change, it's her. Who's going to bring about unity, it's her. Healthcare, reproductive rights, it's her. So she's focusing on those things when Donald Trump is not focusing on the right things. And what happened, to your earlier point of turning the page, her campaign slogan is "We're not going back." And people have short memories in politics. The Donald Trump era was essentially yesterday to a lot of these people. So saying that we're not going back is something that happened organically at our first rally and is going to continue to happen.
I asked Hancock this morning. We had him on during our political question. I said, look, it sure feels like everything's going right for the Democrats right now. They came through the convention. They did the transition. This week of press has been good. And in converse, it feels like it's been the exact opposite for Donald Trump. But it's not because he hasn't had issues to be able to speak to. We had the anniversary of the pullout of Afghanistan. He steps on his own message. Yeah. I mean, he made himself the issue. And I think ultimately what's going to decide this election, Amy, because we're such an evenly divided country, is the most disciplined campaign that's out there. And we know that President Trump doesn't have the ability to stay disciplined. And they're doing a pretty good job keeping the foam and the cardboard around Kamala Harris to make sure that base doesn't fall or drop.
That's what's so frustrating, him not staying on script. You go after her with immigration, go after inflation, go after the disastrous pullout in Afghanistan. I think a candidate like Nikki Haley would do just that. I mean, a Haley-Harris debate would be completely different than Trump and Harris. Michael Kelly, Braxton Payne in Studio B. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Refresh, restore, and protect your employees and customers by calling Zero Res to clean your business the right way so that your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals that the other guys use. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC+. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 10:30, sun and 86 downtown at the Arch. Motorists this holiday weekend are enjoying a break at the gas pump. Reaction from these travelers in Danville, Virginia.
I'm thrilled.
A lot better.
It means I put more money away in the bank.
I don't know how long it's going to go down and keep going down, but I'm going to get it while I can.
The national average for a gallon of regular unleaded gas is $3.44. That's down more than 40 cents from a year ago.
Cardinals baseball, they secure a series split against the Padres yesterday, winning 4-1. San Diego took the first 2 games of the series before the Cardinals come back with wins in games 3 and 4. Sonny Gray threw 6 strong innings, giving up just 1 run. Mason Wynn hitting a solo home run. Ryan Helsley grabs his 41st save. Tonight, the Cardinals are going to match up against the Yankees on the road. Eric Fedde on the mound, 8-7, 3.31 ERA, 6:05 first pitch. Our coverage begins at 5:10. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Heat advisory till 6 p.m. This afternoon's high 97 for tonight. Thunderstorm possible, low 73. For tomorrow, thunderstorm in the morning with a high of 85. Right now, it's 86 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Express Employment Professionals.
If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Fantasy freaks and geeks. What's cracking? It's your boy, James Koh, back with my brand new project, the Sleeper King Football Podcast. Look, I get it, okay? There's a lot of fantasy pods out there, but we're going to keep this one light, 15 to 20 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. And, man, we are going to pack it with all the info you need. Season-long, weekly projections, and, of course, sleepers. Follow and listen to the Sleeper King Football Podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs with Sachs Financial. Do you have a plan for your retirement when it comes to your income so that you can live your best life? If not, go to our website and find out about our retirement compensation plan. RetireSafeSTL.com. RetireSafeSTL.com.
Hi, this is Paul Goldschmidt, and it's game day.
It's the Cards and Yankees tonight. Ameren Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
Let's play ball.
On your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Michael Kelly, Braxton Payne, who is in for John Hancock. I'm Amy Marks Scores. Chris Ranji's on assignment. I bet you can guess where.
It's Friday.
Before we move on to local news and the St. Louis County Council, I do have 2 quick questions about potential flip-flops and actual flip-flops. Obviously, Kamala Harris has changed her positions. She was very vocal about in 2019. She's changed her positions on fracking, eliminating private insurance, decriminalizing illegal crossings, mandating illegal EVs. And at least she has verbally changed her positions on those things. She said last night, my values haven't changed, implying, like my positions have, but my values haven't changed. Is that necessary BS or a smart line?
It's smart. I mean, as I mentioned before on this show, I've been a supporter of Kamala Harris since 2019, and a lot of her policy positions back in 2019, I didn't particularly agree with, whether it becomes like the Green New Deal as it was in that form. I was not a big fan of, but I still supported her. And one of the things she mentioned last night was about fracking. And that was the most interesting part to me, because fracking has become an issue that Donald Trump has focused on. The Republicans have focused on because of the need to win Pennsylvania in the upcoming election. And obviously fracking is a big industry in Pennsylvania. And one of the things that she said is we can still have green jobs and still aim towards clean energy and environmental, wind and solar and air, all those types of things, and still have fracking as part of that equation. And so that's interesting. She's developed on it, and she admitted to it. She said, I've changed my position over the past 3 years because I've seen what's possible to achieve the goals that I want to, which is embodied in what, quote unquote, the Green New Deal, but also include fracking and keep those jobs.
Yeah, and like I said, who knows what she'll actually do. I will say, as a Republican, if she is more moderate now, I hope so, and I'm okay with that if she's backtracked on some of her more progressive positions, because she's not just talking to a San Francisco progressive crowd anymore. Now she's got the whole country. So I'm okay if she has truly moderated her views, I would rather have her flip-flop than be extreme.
I think what you have is a combination of both. I think you have a combination of spin, and I think you have a combination of reality of accepting where the world's at. At one time, Barack Obama wasn't supportive of gay marriage. He was supportive of civil unions. And he said something to the point of, my philosophy hasn't changed, but my understanding has, blah, blah, blah. A lot of what we heard from Kamala Harris last night. And I think that's exactly what she's doing. She's evolving. And at the end of the day, let's not be naive here. This is a person running for president of the United States. They say what they have to say to win office, gosh knows, or lose it in some cases. Mm-hmm. And let's also not be naive as to think when they say, I'm going to walk in on the first day and I'm going to implement all these things, they can't do squat. Neither of them have ever been able to implement anything, meaning Democrats or Republicans. So it's not like there's going to be some giant regime change of liberals storming the bastion to change the world. It's, at the end of the day, the Republicans can't even pass their own bill because they can't stay together.
So a question on Donald Trump and seems like a little bit of a flip and maybe a big flop, which would be, he said he wants federal funding for IVF. He also said a 6-week ban on abortion is too soon. He's also said, I'm going to be great for women's reproductive rights. Not sure what that means, but do you think it's possible that we are weeks away from Trump actually pushing federal funding for abortion access?
How great would that be?
Not for me. I wouldn't want it, but I'm asking, do you think it's a possibility? Because who knows where he stands on this?
This guy doesn't know what he stands for anywhere. Here's what happened. He was either watching Fox News or some pollster or advisor gave him the latest stat, and he went out and he spit it out of his mouth. And so that's his position now. What's going to be interesting to me are all the sycophants who seem to follow every aspect of what Donald Trump is up to, who spent the last 40 years of their lives considering themselves to be pro-life, what they're going to do now that dear leader has gone the opposite direction on them.
I'm a pro-lifer. To me, this is not a winning trail to start hiking for Donald Trump. If you start getting into, this or that with abortion, and again, federal funding, and I'm going to be great for women's reproductive rights. What does that mean? I don't think anyone knows right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's move to the St. Louis County Council. So I like to say the real council members of St. Louis County. The St. Louis County Council chairwoman has reestablished an ethics committee after questions about St. Louis County Executive Sam Page's hospital work. He was saying he's volunteering. Of course, the county charter says all of your time, probably meaning all of your professional time, needs to be committed to the job of being county executive. He said he's just volunteering, although allegedly I think he has his own office. And you do see billing from that hospital under Sam Page's name. And they said, well, that's, people, doctors, or whoever works under him. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a mess. Definitely not transparent. I can tell you that.
All right. So I know Sam Page quite well. I've worked for him in this last campaign. Here's what I don't get. The county charter says, hey, you're only supposed to have one job and it should be a full-time job. I don't think the average voter believes that they're electing Wesley Bell or Tashara Jones or Sam Page only for work hours. I think the average voter sees being the county executive or the congressman to be a 24/7 job and would like people devoted to it. Now, the county executive who is nobly saying he is volunteering his services. Quite noble that he would volunteer his services, but he's also volunteering his services inside the profession in which he is. And there is some billing going on. Boy, seems awfully sticky and wet to me. Having said that, here's what I really don't get, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Why, if you want, why do you want to do this? Isn't the job of county executive enough? I mean, we've all seen what this county, this region is going through. We're losing population. We have a lot of issues. You spent millions of dollars to be the county executive. Why wouldn't you just want to do the job? And if it's volunteering, it's very noble. It's very noble that you want to be a volunteer, but I don't think regular voters look at it as I signed up for somebody who can then go and volunteer like they don't have enough to do. So I just don't get why he's doing it.
Or why he can't explain the records that show Medicaid reimbursed him at least 9 times last year. And he's like, well, I don't know, but I didn't get paid. And you're right. Like, I would assume my job's not as stressful or as time consuming as county executive. I don't have time to volunteer.
And as a result, this is what's going to consume St. Louis County for the next several months. Why? Because this is the county executive has the power to implement a lot of rules and stuff. There's petty politics that are going on both sides. But this has divided the council now, not along partisan lines. It's divided along Sam Page lines. And I don't know, I think a lot of us would like to see a change in behavior of everybody in St. Louis County. At a time where the world seems upside down, we'd like the one stable touch point of our regional governance to be normal. And these people don't agree on what day it is.
Yeah, one of the things, 2 things I find interesting. First off, in the Post-Dispatch article, the 2 Republicans on the council pretty much shook it off as not that big of a deal. And Mark Carter and Dennis Hancock, they were, if he's volunteering, great. It's Shalonda Webb and the Democrats that are the ones that are really taking this on and asking for an investigation. And in regards to, the spokesperson from the hospital says that Sam Page has not been paid. So obviously, if they're saying that, they knew this article was coming out and they were on the record saying that he was not paid and the reimbursements went back to the hospital. So therefore it is volunteering. Now is it I think Mark Carter maybe is the one that had mentioned it's an odd way to volunteer and to do that. And obviously you have to keep up your certifications as after he is no longer county executive. I'm sure he'll go back into practice. My interesting is it's the politics of it, is that the Republicans seem to, obviously they don't love Sam Page, but they're not really super concerned about it. And the hospital's on record saying that he was not paid.
Well, they did.
He was not paid personally.
Earlier, like years ago, Mark Carter and Tim Fitch, who was in office at the time, they did say like he's violating the county charter.
Yes, they did.
It's been dragged on.
Yeah, and so they obviously, because that was before the county charter was changed and we voted on it, and the St. Louis County voters voted on it and said that it needs to be a full-time job, and that's when Sam Page said, "Okay, I'll stop." And then transparency for me is probably the hardest issue. Is if he is volunteering, just say, "Hey, I'm volunteering this day."
And I renew my motion. I mean, when you hear all the explanations of what Braxton did, I know Sam. Sam's a good guy. He's a doctor. He does good things. I don't understand why he wants to have this fight constantly having this fight about his job when there's plenty to do in St. Louis County.
He's Michael Kelly. That's Braxton Payne. I'm Amy Markscores. I think Michael Kelly has some Forest Park thoughts. So
yeah, and we have to have a review of the Hancock and Kelly appearance of Amy Markscores last week on Fox 2.
That was a lot of fun. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Charlie Brennan with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What can people expect when they visit one of your doctors at the Audiology Center?
Expect a friendly greeting and a waiting room stocked full of refreshments. But more importantly, a patient should expect that they're treated on an individual basis. We are not retail, and we pride ourselves on our medical model. Each hearing aid is catered towards each patient's unique needs. Expect a full history intake where we get to know you and your personal needs. And then we'll complete a full battery of tests where we can adequately diagnose your hearing health. We want you to understand those results right away. So directly following your tests, We're going to go over everything extensively. Finally, at that time, we'll develop a customized treatment plan built around you as an individual.
The Audiology Center, 3 locations in the St. Louis area, 636-441-7470. The Audiology Center, STL.com.
Saturdays are made for soccer and City SC on Y98. Whether you're running around town watching your kids from the sidelines or making the time to give blood and save lives by making your appointment at Impact Life, your community blood center. Make your appointment today at bloodcenter.org/soccer. And remember, you can always catch the City SC game anywhere on the Odyssey app and on Y98, your home for St. Louis City Soccer.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Always find what you love at Total Wine & More. With so many bottles to choose from at the lowest price, it's easy to find your favorite Cabernet or a new single barrel bourbon to try. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine & More. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm Sean Malone. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
I do enjoy listening to y'all. I like the varied viewpoints expressed with dignity, and the discussions are very interesting. So thank you for that.
Thank you, John, for your voice message.
Is he listening to me?
I think he was talking about me.
I think he was talking about you, Aim.
No, it was a good discussion. And if you want to chime in, we want to hear from you. The Odyssey app makes it super easy. Download the Odyssey app. Go to the KMOX homepage. Right there, smack dab in the middle, is a microphone icon. And you can leave us a voice message just like that. Just don't forget to hit send.
So Sunday morning, I wake up last week. I show up at KMOX or at Fox 2, and who walks in? Amy, looking dynamite. We go in. By the way, we were wearing the same colors.
We were wearing the same jacket.
Yeah. Yours fit better. And so we go in, we do the show. And it was lovely. And so Monday morning, I tune in. I'm like, surely Amy's going to talk. Our ratings were off the chart at Fox 2, highest they've ever been. People are raving for Amy to return with
Trump
Hancock
and Mike Kelly love the ratings.
Yes,
they're very. That's how they are similar.
People are saying. People are saying. But
there was a huge crowd.
You've not talked about it. You did such a fabulous job.
You. I don't know, like, hey, everybody. I should have, because it was really, really fun. I would love to do it again. It was so much fun. Andy Banker does a great job as the moderator. And it was like the good old days with Mike Kelly.
How is it different, though? Because there is a different feeling on radio than there is in television. We're doing the same thing.
Right.
You know, and it's live, but people don't realize that we're saying that live. And if we said something inappropriate, it's going to come out. But there's a different feeling than there is on the radio, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is. I thought I was looking at the right camera for one part, but one part I was not looking at the correct camera. I'm just not used to being seen. So I'm like, okay, I got to fix my hair, do makeup the best that I can. I'm not a makeup person. So my mom texts me. It's like, great job. You looked so pretty. Did they give you that jacket?
What?
What? I was like, no, I have a nice jacket. And she's like, oh, it looked like the same one as Michael Kelly's. And I thought maybe they gave you matching jackets.
Like we're the Monday Night Football crew.
Although I like that idea.
Yeah, we can walk in there with a little H&K patch.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, with
so
the little
cute.
elephant and donkey, like your guys' emblem.
Oh my gosh,
next to
that
each
would be
other.
adorable.
Oh,
I
we
think
gotta
you guys
get
should
those.
invest in that.
Well, I wound up going home and listening to us on the podcast that came out, and you were fabulous. I was walking in Forest Park. Oh, by the way, Forest Park the other day.
Oh yeah, this is your update.
I had a celebrity run-in.
Okay.
Okay, so and by the way, this celebrity walks regularly in Forest Park. That's not rude, is it? I mean,
No, I don't
It's a
think
public
so.
park here.
Yeah.
You're gonna dox
So
somebody right now.
I'm walking in the park the other day, and I see this really handsome older gentleman walking at me from a couple hundred yards away, and he's got gray hair that's kind of pulled back, or not pulled back, but
Slicked back.
slicked back, and it's a flowing mane. It was Ted Simmons.
Oh,
And
really?
he's walking in the park, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be that guy who's like, hi, Mr. Simmons, how are you? Oh my God. So I'm like walking by him, but so now I'm doing that creeper thing where you're like kind of looking your head that way, but you don't want them to see like you're staring at them. Do you get that sometimes? And then after that, I started walking into the world that is Forest Park, which at different times has different societies of St. Louis that are taking place there.
Yes. No, 100%. And the earlier you go, it's like the skinnier the people are and the less clothes the people are wearing.
Yeah. That's your
what?
crowd.
Yeah.
The 5 o'clock crowd who
Yeah.
are there for 20 miles, you guys are wearing no clothes and you all look like, well, you're eating granola and stuff while
and it's
you're
also
running.
like the Wash U cross country team, right? So you see like 20 guys that are like healthy skeletons. You know, I don't know how to describe
They
it.
are healthy skeletons. That's a,
right.
I went to
Yeah.
Forest Park. This is ironic that we're talking about this. I went to the Forest Park for the first time on a Sunday to walk ever. This last Sunday. So I went with my brother-in-law and my best friend Tom and my daughter Gia and my dog. So we were like, oh, let's just take a nice little walk, get there. Like, I think we got there at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I took like this new way that I've never taken. And I didn't even know that parts of this park existed.
Right.
That's how big we walked 4.5 miles, which looking back, I mean, that Tom was leading and my buddy, and I was like, okay, I got a kid and a dog. We gotta wrap this up. I need to eat. But it was 4.5 miles. You don't really feel like you're walking 4.5 miles, and you continue, and you don't even realize you're in a city. And you get in these little nature parts and little gravel roads.
And the people watching too with the beauty.
Oh, and so my question, Amy, because I had this question,
Yes.
you're a runner, is the gravel, and so obviously you have the sidewalks that are paved. Is the gravel meant to like be better for runners and their knees? Because I noticed like a lot of them didn't like obviously the bikers did the concrete and not the gravel. Like I was kind of confused on why we don't just pave the everything.
Right. I think for walking and running, a gravel path is generally easier on your joints. Also like more enjoyable if you're in a park. You don't necessarily want to be on pavement, right? It's kind of like connecting with the earth a little bit. But I will say all of our, like my easy days, like, you know, the days where you're not running fast.
We run 7 miles. Easy day.
Right. You run it on the gravel because it absorbs the shock. It's hard for me. It's hard to run fast on the gravel. There are people who do like hard workouts on the gravel. I just like it's a little slick. But yeah, I think the gravel it's just more peaceful.
Yeah, maybe. But those little rocks get in your shoes and it stinks.
Well, I
and
had
you're
a
kinda pulling them
stroller,
off
so
and
you know when the gravel's a little bit thicker, you were like really dredging through there.
The stroller I would do paved because some of it gets there.
When you guys are in the park, do you ever like spot things that like stop you dead in your tracks? So this morning I went for a walk before I came here. And there was a guy walking in Forest Park who looked like a Macy's float. So his head was like 2 feet in front of the rest of his body. He was leaned forward.
So Michael's leaning forward with his arms
and
behind
he had
his
his
torso.
arms back, like, you know, so he's like a Macy's float. He's
Was
leading with his head.
he Naruto running? You know the Naruto run?
Yeah.
What is Naruto run?
It's where you run with your arms straight back behind
So now
you.
Amy's
Maybe that's
arms
what he
are
was
behind her
doing.
torso with their head out. I'm just describing it
But
for the
maybe
listeners
that's
here.
what he was doing. But what does that do for you? Because this was so awkward. I stopped. I killed 10 minutes of my time. And it was too dark for me to pull out the camera because I would have videoed it for
I don't think he was. I mean, he was walking or running.
Walking.
Okay, because
Fast
Naruto
walking.
running is like really funny.
Is it like for core strength,
It's
maybe?
like anime, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Naruto running. What if he just
It
had
may have
like
been Naruto running because it was an Asian gentleman.
Oh.
No, it was.
Well,
No,
maybe he had
because
like
what
a
you're
back-
describing said exactly what was going on. He had his arms back, but anyway, I wound up. So then I pulled out my camera to take a video, and I'm now that guy who's videoing, and I'm worried that people are going to see that I'm videoing, and it was too dark. I lost you, didn't I? Back problem.
Maybe he had a back problem.
He had a back problem.
So I'll pivot.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know what irritates me the most is I'm going to probably get a little hate for this, but is the bikers. I feel like the bikers are very entitled. We got yelled at once because we were walking on the line, God forbid, and the guy comes down about 100 miles per hour about to take us out and yells at us, curses at us.
The
But I'm
bikers.
just like, they are very entitled. And they're entitled when they drive on the street. They don't stop at stop signs. I mean, do they want to be a car or do they not?
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Can they abide by the same laws?
Preach.
So, and here's the
Nobody
thing,
knows
too.
the biker rules either.
No, and I know the paved part is called the bike path, but it's also called a road bike. If you're on a cute little bike with your family, do the paved path. But if you're on a road bike going 50 miles an hour,
Get out on the road.
Get on the road. Hey, speaking of getting on the road,
You're not laughing
you guys are out
uncontrollably
here.
anymore. You want to get rid of us, don't you?
Thanks, Amy.
Who's coming in to bring you some stability?
Brad Young.
Oh, there you go.
We need a
Mr.
lawyer.
Stable.
Michael Kelly, Braxton,
Thanks, Amy.
Payne, thank you guys so
Bye.
much. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than $4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than $4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When you ask people here, what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler? For some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings, only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing. It's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
At 11 o'clock, we've got some clouds, some sun. It's 88 degrees downtown at V-Arch. This newscast is sponsored by Midwest Wing Fest, Labor Day weekend in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Our top story this hour, another long weekend getaway day is underway. Robert Sinclair with AAA explains why it may seem like everybody is closing out the summer away from home.
Gasoline across the nation is upwards of 40 to 48 cents cheaper than a year ago. Rental car rates are 16% less than a year ago. And if we look to the skies, we're seeing that domestic flights are about 2% cheaper than last year.
The TSA expects to screen about 17 million people this weekend. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, sat down for their first major interview.
CNN's Dana Bash interviewed Vice President Kamala Harris and running mate Tim Walz during a break in their Georgia bus tour. The interview was taped hours before at a local restaurant in Savannah, Georgia, and aired in the evening. Harris defended shifting away from some of her more liberal positions and said that she is seeking consensus. Harris brushed off former President Donald Trump's questioning of her racial identity after he said she happened to turn black. Harris, who is of Black and South Asian heritage, said the attack was, in her words, the same old tired playbook. She and Trump are set to debate on September 10th. I'm Norman Hall.
Chesterfield Mall officially closes tomorrow.
Tenant leases are up August 31st, and then most of the mall will be demolished. Seinberg Group says Dillard's will stay and operate as part of a new development. Developers also plan to keep a building that once housed Macy's. The site will become a mixed-use development with a 3.5-acre park, apartment units, businesses, and office space. First phases are expected to be complete by 2027. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Mizzou opens its season with an easy win.
5 minutes, 19 seconds into the opening quarter, 11th-ranked Missouri had built a 21-0 lead, and they went on to a season-opening 51-0 win over Murray State. The Tigers totaled 489 yards of total offense to 85 for the Racers. Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwitz.
The name of the game is how much better can you get? And 2 years ago, we had a big win and then kind of laid an egg the very next week because we thought we patted ourselves on the back, for a week. So we're not going to do that. We're going to get in there. We're going to figure out how to improve, and we're going to attack it this week in practice.
Missouri quarterback Brady Cook threw for one score and rushed for another. Luther Burden III was on the receiving end of the scoring strike. Nate Noel, Marcus Carroll, and Jamal Roberts added rushing scores. Mike Reeves, Columbia, Missouri.
Tragedy for an NFL player and his brother.
Columbus Blue Jackets forward Johnny Gaudreau and his brother were killed last night after getting hit by a car while riding bikes in New Jersey. The 31-year-old played 11 seasons in the NHL, including 9 with the Calgary Flames. The Blue Jackets posting a statement on X calling the death an unimaginable tragedy, saying Johnny played the game with great joy, which was felt by everyone that saw him on the ice. The brothers were reportedly in town for their sister's wedding, which was supposed to be today in Philadelphia. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The KMOX Business Desk, shopping at Ulta or Walmart.
Consumers continue to watch their budgets even when it comes to beauty products. Those changes have Ulta Beauty trimming its sales forecast as more shoppers cut back on makeup and cosmetics in the face of higher prices and elevated borrowing costs. The retailer says it's facing more competition from Target and Walmart as shoppers focus more on value. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 106 points to 41,228. Road work on 70 going west at 141 has the right lane closed. Also a disabled vehicle 44 going east at Grand. It's also got the right lane closed.
Hot and humid this afternoon. We'll have clouds, sun, and a high of 97. Strong thunderstorms will cross the area during the afternoon and evening with flash flooding and damaging winds. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's 88 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by the Midwest Wing Fest in Fairview Heights, Illinois.
August 30th and 31st, come out to Midwest Wing Fest in Fairview Heights, Illinois for a legendary food and music festival that benefits combat wounded soldiers and the families of local fallen heroes. MidwestWingFest.com. Brought to you by the Shoemaker Loan Team and the Home Foundation.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
Ah, yes. Tag teaming on this brilliant Friday, the last day of the heat advisory. We're playing his favorite song. It's Mr. Brad Young of Hairstyle Fisher & Young. This is your favorite song, right, Brad?
No.
Okay.
That is not my favorite song. You know what was funny, though? It used to be Ryan Recker's favorite song.
Oh, man.
When he was, I know I'm going back some years here. So when I would fill in for Ryan Recker on a Friday, the producer would play this song and just to watch me cringe. So no, this is my favorite song as much as stepping on nails is my favorite activity.
So I'm guessing no.
Yeah, the answer would be no.
That's Brad Young. And we're welcoming into Studio B, as we do every Friday, KMOX anchor and reporter Scott Jagow to give us a preview of TIAM weekend.
Well, that song always reminds me of something. So I created this show called The Friday Show when I was in
does it remind you of pain?
Yeah,
it reminds you of something. It reminds me of pain. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, I had created this online show with my boss, and it was called The Friday Show. And so I created this opening, and it always started with "It's Friday," and then I had some other Friday, other songs that had Friday in them. So every time I hear that, that's all I can think about. Anyway, moving on. Have you seen the documentary Untold Sign Stealer?
No, I mean, I've seen the Untold series, but I've never seen Sign Stealer.
So it's new. It's brand new, like this week. And I watched it. It's #1 on Netflix right now. And it's riveting because it's Connor Stallions, the guy caught up in the whole Michigan scandal about stealing signs from other teams. And it's just fascinating to hear his story and then to see how he was treated by the university and how Jim Harbaugh kind of skated through this and got his national championship and then got out. And now he's in LA with the Chargers. It's an interesting story, and I highly recommend you watching it because it's sort of that gray area. It was legal, totally legal to do what he did, except he took it a little too far, possibly with getting people to go to other games and record. And he says he didn't need to do that. What I found the most fascinating was that he was kind of a savant. Like he was an ex-Navy, highly intelligent, and he stood in front of a white screen with black clothing on and mimicked 3,000 signs. And then he memorized all of them.
So like a savant, like a card counter, but with signs.
Exactly. I mean, it is very similar to card counting, which is not illegal. It's just that if you get caught doing it by the casino, they can kick you out because it's private property.
Exactly.
Legal analyst Brad Young.
So let me ask you this. Having watched that sign stealing documentary, does it leave you with a better or worse feeling about Jim Harbaugh or the NCAA or any of that?
Well, definitely the NCAA's reputation could not possibly be any worse than it is. So, no, I mean, I already knew that they're a disgusting organization and that they're hypocrites and they're of the same ilk of the Olympic IOC and FIFA, the corruption scandals over the years. So, no, it didn't really change a little bit on Jim Harbaugh, though, because I feel like he floated above it and obviously knew what they were doing. And, he got his national championship. Like I said, he skated off to LA. But the other documentary I recommend is called Inside the Edge. and it's called A Professional Blackjack Adventure. So talking about card counting, it's kind of the same thing. This guy, he was so good at card counting by himself. He didn't need a team. He was so good at it. He was taking millions from the casinos, got kicked out of every single one of them in Vegas, rented an RV, drove around the country to go to small casinos that he thought he could go in, disguise himself, and get out. And lo and behold, they finally caught up to him at all of the casinos. Like, he was booked by these people that watch for this stuff with the facial recognition and all that. So his card counting days are over. His blackjack career is over, but it's a fascinating documentary.
I will have to add that to my list along with the
Sign stealing
and the Mars documentary.
Oh,
what was that one?
Good Night, Oppie.
Good Night, Oppie. I've got all these documentaries now we're going to watch.
That one's a tearjerker.
What do people have to look forward to this weekend on TIAM?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we've got a good show lined up. I am doing Roaming St. Louis from Latte Lounge, which is just down the street here. It's a really cool story. This woman started it when she was 19, this African-American entrepreneur with her stepdad. Now that they have 3 locations, and she runs a childcare facility. I don't know how she does it, but the food and the coffee is incredible. They do latte flights.
I love that idea.
Interesting.
I have only heard of that first through Latte Lounge. Then I know there's Taleo Coffee in Kirkwood. And I think they maybe on special occasions will do a latte flight. But Latte Lounge, that's what one of their famous signatures, right? That they always have them.
And they do like sort of low country Creole food, lobster and shrimp and grits and other grits and lamb and grits and lots of grits. And
I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah, it is. And then for Chat with Stu Mac, Joe Pott is joining us, and we're talking about the strangest foods we've eaten.
Oh.
So that's a good one. And then I'll have my 3 Good Things essay, as always. Tom Ackerman on sports, Hancock and Kelly on politics, and Johnny Rabbit. It's all 6:30 to 9:30 every Sunday morning.
I love it. You do a great job. To me, that's like appointment radio. I always catch it in the car, on the Odyssey app, driving back and forth. So look forward to it, Scott. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Brad.
Scott Jagow, KMOX anchor and reporter, host of TIAM Weekend. I highly recommend you listen to it. 3 Good Things, Roaming St. Louis, Chat with Stu Mac. It's must-listen radio. And again, we want to hear from you today. The Odyssey app, listen wherever you go. Go to the KMOX page on the Odyssey app. You'll see the mic icon. You can leave us a voice message. Brad Young over there. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Life can throw curveballs our way, just like the sudden car accident that put me in a coma 30 years ago, long before I became the Cardinal Cowboy. And just like recovering from bumps in the road, we all need reliable help when things go wrong. At Renner Garage, they understand unexpected setbacks. Whether it's a repair, a new door, or a LiftMaster opener, Renner has the team of trusted experts who know how to lift you up and get you back on track. You know the name, RENNER, forward and back, RennerDoorSTL.com. Giddy up.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BEDSORE.
I don't want to wait.
You never want to wait.
Not when I'm sticking to the couch.
Well, those guys can install a new AC for days. Evidently, no one can.
JerryKelly.com says if you purchase a full home comfort system today, they'll install it the very next day.
Wow, that's fast.
And guaranteed. Buy a home comfort system from Jerry Kelly today, and they'll install it tomorrow, or they'll give you $500 guaranteed.
JerryKelly.com. Before you sell your home, consider your options. This is Debbie Monterey, and for years I've been telling you about St. Louis's real estate expert Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is an expert in selling homes for the most money because she has the guarantees, the buyers, and different solutions for every type of seller. She recently provided a family multiple cash offers in minutes so they could move quickly with no showings, no costly repairs, no hassles. Not everyone is looking for multiple cash offers. That's why Gloria will sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. Her Her name says it all. Your home sold guaranteed, regardless of whether you're looking for multiple cash offers or you want to use her guaranteed sold program to ensure you get the most money possible. Call the agent I would trust to sell my home, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe versus Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
Welcome to the Red Kingdom. Yeah.
Oh, baby, the Kansas City Chiefs season begins next Thursday at 7:20 versus the Baltimore Ravens. The long wait is over. It's football season, and joining us today, his first time for the 2024 season, is Danan Hughes, the Kansas City Chiefs radio analyst and former wide receiver. He'll be joining us every week. Danan, good to talk to you again.
Hey, good to talk to you as well. You guys ready for the season? Are you ready for me every single week?
Let's go.
I don't know if I would wish that on anybody. that sounds like torture.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's been fun the past 2 years with the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. We're going for this three-peat this year, so this is a special year. So I'm looking forward to each and every week with you guys. We're going to be talking about the three-peat run, maybe a hot start, maybe a lukewarm middle or vice versa. But nevertheless, it's going to be a full, exciting season.
Let me ask you about the three-peat first, just to kick things off. Are the Chiefs going to three-peat? And give me your top reasons why, and maybe your concerns why not.
So I believe they can. I don't want to get into predictions yet, as far as because I know it's going to be an uphill battle, obviously starting next week against the Ravens. You consider our schedule. The schedule makers did not do us any favors. But the cool thing about this run, and I grew up in the era where you didn't give teams bulletin board material, you walk softly, carry a big stick, all of those different cliches. But if you remember, before Patrick Mahomes even touched the trophy, he was talking about the three-peat. When we were in Vegas and they won with that touchdown to McCole Hardman, they were pulling out the stage and the confetti was flying, and he was already talking about making history and going for a three-peat. And the fact that the entire organization has embraced it, They're not shying away from it. They're not giving the cliche answers. They are fully embracing it. And to me, that's part of the reason why I think it's capable to be done. It's never been done before, but as long as we stay healthy, I like our chances.
Danon, hi, it's Brad Young here. And obviously, when you look at the Chiefs are really a team that has some amazing players. They are amazing individually, and they play well together. My question is, after watching the Bears game, is Jaden Hicks going to be a member of that star-studded team this season? Because what limited play we saw him in the Bears game, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was. You know what we've seen from Brett Beach and Andy Reid is the diamonds. I don't even want to call them diamonds in the rough, but just calling them diamonds as far as players that have impact immediately. And as rookies, you look at Rashee Rice last year, the year before, even though it was kind of limited, but in high pressure situations, Sky Moore stepped up. When we traded for Kadarius Toney, a first-year guy, when he came in big in the Super Bowl, like it seems like they have a knack for finding those guys and those guys being able to have immediate impact. And that's what I think is cool about our team. It's not about just acquiring free agents. And, you know, we've seen that story in the history of the NFL where teams just go after the big high dollar free agents, and they think that's going to put them over the top. We do everything through the draft. So as far as one of the stars of the preseason and the offseason, Jaden Hicks definitely is at the top of that. And the fact of how this Chiefs defense and Steve Spagnuolo uses those safeties like Justin Reed and Shamari Connor, Mike Edwards last year, like I feel like he's going to make a huge impact, and it's going to be cool to see rookies like he and Xavier Worthy make that kind of impact for us.
You bring up Kadarius Toney. The Chiefs placed him on waivers a couple of days ago. Why do you think that just didn't work out for the team?
Yeah, I just think that, you know, there wasn't a fit. When you go after a second-round pick in Sky Moore, then a second-round pick in Rashee Rice, then a first-round pick in Xavier Worthy, you bring back McCole Hardman, there's just not enough spots. And when you think about the guys that are going to be third, fourth, fifth, even sixth on a depth chart at wide receiver, once you start getting down on that depth chart, you got to start getting guys that fit specific roles. The reason why Justin Watson has been able to stick around is because he's a role player. Takes advantage of his opportunities at wide receiver, but you know what he's going to bring to the table in special teams and leadership. And I just feel like Kadarius Toney wouldn't necessarily be that guy. He would always be kind of caught up in being a number one or number two or his options at wide receiver, and those spots are already taken. So unless we have some injuries, it's just kind of a numbers game at that wide receiver position. To me, it wasn't very much of a surprise that Kadarius didn't make the team.
We're talking to Danon Hughes, and you're going to be hearing a lot of him this year as you're listening to the Chiefs game, and hopefully we're moving this towards a three-peat. But Danon, one of the things, again, when you think about the Chiefs, you think about outstanding passing, amazing aerial feats that we see on a weekly basis. And yet, again, in the preseason, Carson Steele was a standout when it comes to the ground game. Was that unexpected?
How about the alligator man in Carson Steele? I mean, how many people do you know have a pet alligator? Like, I mean, that tells you something about him. He should have been signed to the active roster just for that. Like living in an apartment with an alligator. Oh, well, first of all, I want to talk to his landlord, because what landlord around town allows alligators? They don't even allow dogs anymore. But the fact that he's able to be the stud and taking advantage of his opportunities, that's the diamond in the rough that I'm talking about, where you get a free agent running back / fullback, special teams player. He's recovering fumbles, and he looks like he's just loving to be out there. And I think that's one of the coolest attributes. Always with a smile on his face. Doesn't look like the pressure was getting to him as a rookie. Sometimes rookies kind of wet the bed, but he did not. And I think that's a cool story. I think he's going to be an impact player for us.
That's awesome. I guess how can you be afraid of anything else if you're living with an alligator?
That's right.
Hey, do we have any update on Juju Smith-Schuster with knee injuries or whether or not he'll be ready for the first game of the season?
So we haven't had any complete update as far as his availability, but that's not a bad thing because it's one of those deals where no news is good news. Hasn't been spoken about. I know that's part of the reason why he left New England, or he got released from there, is because of some of the injuries. But I was not surprised that we brought him back. And part of the reason is when you're looking for depth at the wide receiver position, in this offense, as you mentioned, the aerial attack that we have, it's very, very complex. So to pick up somebody at the end of training camp, at the end of preseason, and expect them to have any kind of impact on this offense, it's probably low to no option at all. And so you have to get somebody that's familiar. So going back and getting Juju, he was one of the stars of that Super Bowl run against the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought it was a very smart move. And it's a lesson to a lot of young players, even, the listeners out there that have kids in high school, et cetera. Never burn bridges. You never know. You never, ever know what might come back around. And Juju handled himself as a true professional, and therefore he had an opportunity to come back to the world champion team.
Well, Danon, obviously the Chiefs are opening against Baltimore. What do you see as the keys to that particular game, given Baltimore's strengths and weaknesses?
So one of the keys is they got this big running back, Derrick Henry, who's been in Tennessee. We know he's one of the more feared running backs in recent decades. And with he and Lamar Jackson, that running attack can be vital. And you're going to have to learn how to keep your keys, be disciplined with your eyes, but bring your lunch pail. Bring your lunch pail when you're trying to tackle those guys. You don't want to get him going and allow him to have any kind of head of steam, especially into the fourth quarter. So to me, the number one key is stopping Derrick Henry. And we've been able to do a solid job of that. I think a few years ago, he ran wild against us in the first game, but when we got back to him in the playoffs, we kind of shut him down. And I feel like that's going to be the number one key. And then absorbing their emotion. Let's face it, we ended their season on their field last year in the AFC Championship. They don't like it. They didn't like it. They don't feel good about it. We know that. So they're going to come in. They've been looking at this opportunity since May when the schedule came out, licking their chops, champing at the bit, and we got to be able to absorb that emotion. We didn't really do a good job of that last year when we had the opener against the Lions, a team that wanted to come in, prove themselves, and they did. You can make an argument that the Lions, if they lost that opening game against the Chiefs last year, I don't know if they would have had the same kind of zest and the same kind of attitude to go through the season and make it to the NFC Championship. So opening game is very important. The Ravens are going to come in with fire coming out their ears, and we just got to be able to absorb it and play our game.
Awesome. I can't wait. I'm so glad football season is here. It's been a little rough here in St. Louis with the baseball season. Yeah. It's good to have a couple of teams to root for. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs, and they begin their season next Thursday at 7:20 with the Baltimore Ravens. That is the voice of Danon Hughes, Kansas City Chiefs radio analyst. You also know him as a former wide receiver. He'll be joining us every week. Danon, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Amy, just one last thing. Every week when it's time for the Chiefs to play, you got to hit people in the mouth. So just remember that. You got to hit people in the mouth when it's time for the Chiefs to play. Next week against the Ravens, you're going to hit people in the mouth.
I am, or the Chiefs are?
No, I am. We are the Chiefs. We're going to hit people in the mouth. That's what the Chiefs are going to do.
I love it.
Got to get amped up, ready to go.
Let's go. We'll do it. All right, I'll work on that. I'm like straightening my jacket here. Like, all right, get ready to hit people in the mouth. All right. Thanks, Danon. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Danon Hughes, Kansas City Chiefs radio analyst. Sitting, across from me, per se, is Brad Young. I'm Amy Markscores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
Are you tired of those unwanted, stubborn areas of fat? Do you want to lose up to 2 inches of that fat quickly and safely? Hi, this is Dr. Michael Glickert at St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and we offer the latest breakthrough treatment in fat reduction without surgery through our incredible Lumara body contouring program that gently melts fat naturally, eliminating it from your body. If you want to lose inches on your thighs, arms, waist, stomach, or back, take advantage of our limited time offer of just $69 for your first treatment, which is valued at $300. You heard that right, just $69 for your first treatment. Visit us online at moweightloss.com.
Hey, this is Debbie Monterey, and I admit I was skeptical about body contouring at St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, but I figured, what do I have to lose except apparently inches, because they already helped me lose 40 pounds, and then they took before and after pictures while I was doing body contouring. I did 8 treatments, and you could totally see the difference. So take advantage of this limited time offer, just $69 for your first body contouring treatment, regularly $300, by calling 314-207-8600 or online at moweightloss.com.
At 11:30, we've got sun. It's 89 downtown at the Arch. While tens of millions will fly or drive over the long holiday weekend, even more Americans will stay put, including these folks in Roxborough, North Carolina.
We usually never travel on the holidays because of the crowd and the gas prices.
Trying to keep it a little bit close to home, but we're happy to be local and hanging out.
AAA says bookings for domestic Labor Day weekend travel are up nearly 10% from last year. Heat advisory till 6 p.m. Today's high 97, tonight's low 73. For tomorrow, high 85. Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. It's 89 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Scott, I have a new word, floornancing. What are you saying, flooring or financing? Actually, both, because at Best Buy Flooring, we have the largest selection of carpet tile, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, ceramic tile, laminate, and hardwood. Yes, and free financing for qualified buyers. 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week, including at South County. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
St. Louis, Walk to End Lupus now. The 2024 Walk to End Lupus takes place September 7th at Creve Coeur Lake Memorial Park under the Trainman Pavilion. Join us in person to Walk to End Lupus now. For more information, visit the website at lupus.org/heartland.
Turn it up to Pear, because this big news only gets better. Mercy Go Health Urgent Care just opened a brand new center located in the DePere Point Shopping Center near Trader Joe's and right next to DePere Dentistry. That means you can now conveniently save your spot online or just walk in to visit with a friendly Mercy provider any night, weekend, or holiday when you need care. Plus, their state-of-the-art centers offer on-site x-rays and labs, so you can get the timely services you need in no time at all. Visit Mercy Go Health Urgent Care in DePere today.
Saturdays are made for soccer. Presented by Michelob Ultra. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Catch St. Louis City Soccer anywhere you go on the Odyssey app. Or grab your friends and catch the game at any City on Tap location, bringing City SC fans and beer together.
Hi, my name is Indiana Voslev from St. Louis City, and Saturdays are made for soccer.
Brought to you by Together Credit Union, the exclusive banking partner of City SC.
213 Flashpoint Complex will take you to the next level. It increases your metabolism, fights cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash, and at night, it helps you burn fat by lowering cortisol levels. 213 Flashpoint Complex is available at Supplement Superstores. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
News Radio, KMOX, the home of the Cardinals.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt. I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar. I'm Woodson Contreras.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
A swing and a ground ball up the middle. Backhanded by Donovan. He throws to first for a Redbird winner. Solano grounds out, and this ballgame has come to an end. The Cardinals won the season series over the Padres, and they set off the fireworks in downtown St. Louis, celebrating a 4-1 win for the Cardinals.
John Rooney with the call as the Cardinals earn a split with the Padres. And our Fastball with Chris and Amy is sponsored by Fast Eddie's Bon Air, the coldest beer in town. And now we welcome in, as we do every Friday, Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne. He joins us today. Brad Young's across from me. Hi, Claibs. How you doing?
I'm doing well here in New York. I'm got pulled away over here at the U.S. Open watching Coco Gauff play.
Are you really? See, this is the problem, Mike. You live this life. When I joked about you hanging out with Michael Jordan, like, oh, you're probably hanging out with Michael Jordan. And you responded, actually, I was. I ran into Michael Jordan the other day in Jupiter. And I knew that you would be doing something just super glamorous. And I'm so jealous. The U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe Stadium, and you got to see Coco Gauff?
Yeah, she's playing right now. I just stepped away. You can't do the cell phone thing while you're in the arena. So I'm just standing here in one of the rooms and chatting it up with you guys.
We appreciate
it.
The
funny thing about it is, you would think she would be a prime time match, but, she started a little while ago. And I was like, okay, let's go over and check this out. So it's a fun place. If you've never been to the U.S. Open, put it on your bucket list of things to do. You don't even have to be a huge tennis fan, but it's just a great environment to be in.
I love it. And I am a massive tennis fan. I've watched like all the U.S. Opens going back to Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, the serve and volley era. So very, very cool. Hey, Claibs, let's talk about that Cardinals win last night, 4-1 over the Padres. They get the series split. Just one day at a time is all you can do, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have less than 30 games to go. You know what you have to do. And you just go play. I mean, this thing has been going on for a long time now. And, you kind of put yourself in this position and you can't look down the road at next week or the next series. You have to worry about the game you're about to play.
Well, Mike, I wanted to ask you about this because Brad Young here, by the way. It's great to talk to you as always, my friend. But the Cardinals placed Tommy Pham on waivers. And I guess my question is a timing issue. Isn't it important at this point that they placed him on waivers now? Because can't another team still pick him up before the close of business tomorrow?
No, you're right, Brett. And that's really the purpose. And it's really a professional courtesy. He's a player that teams are going to have an interest in. And the reason why they have to do it before the drop dead date is because he wouldn't be eligible to be on somebody's playoff roster after tomorrow. So that's the reason why they did it. And, it's basically saying, hey, we appreciate you as a pro. You may be able to get in a better situation than the one you're in here now. We have some other kids we want to look at, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah. Do you see another team picking him up at this point?
Oh, I do. I think there's somebody out there who feels like here's a right-handed bat. His work ethic is one that you appreciate and respect. And, he's a veteran and he can maybe help somebody else. I mean, you think about last year when he went to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they'll tell you to a person that he was the difference maker. And while they were a team teetering on postseason to finding themselves playing in the World Series.
Claibs, I wanted to ask you about something that's been, I think it's been making the rounds in St. Louis, obviously on social media. And that is that the Cardinals struggling with low attendance as of late. And I guess it's both a compliment and a surprise in the sense that it's a compliment in that the Padres announcers brought up that Busch Stadium was, less filled than usual at this time of year and how it's something they haven't seen before, which means, it's a testament to the Cardinals fans always showing up. But also it does feel a little odd right now for St. Louis. They're not out of it. They're not out of a race for a playoff spot. What do you make of what the Cardinals are seeing at Busch Stadium right now?
Well, it's something we've never seen before. I've been in the business since 81. I can name the times on one hand I've seen crowds this low, and that was before I got in the business. It's different, and I think it's something that everybody in the baseball world is paying attention to because nobody's ever seen it before. When out of town teams come in and broadcasters are used to seeing 35, 40,000 people, and now to see the numbers that they are now, it's something that you definitely pay attention to. And because we see it in cities we go to, but they've never seen it happen here in St. Louis. So it's a statement. And, fans are obviously not happy with what's going on. And I can tell you this, nobody within the organization is happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you fix it? And there's a couple of ways you can look at, you develop from within. Do you make deals? Do you sign free agents? I mean, is it going to be a combination of things, I would think, that would get this team back into a more competitive situation? And, it's not going to happen overnight. But, we have the pieces to get better quicker than some organizations.
Yeah, and you talk about that change with the organization, improving where they're at. That won't happen overnight. But I do think as soon as that starts to get in motion and fans can see it, I feel like fans will come back overnight because
I agree.
We're so passionate. I don't think this is like, oh my gosh, I feel like we'll come back. We are just looking for any reason, right, to go back.
I agree with you. I mean, and think about it, the Cardinals have kind of had the entertainment world locally by the tail for a number of years. And this is all we know is, tuning in to Cardinal baseball, going to the games and whatever else that comes with it. And so there's no other entity locally that can seize that moment. So, while people are finding other things to do from a recreational standpoint, it's still a situation where Cardinal baseball is part of the fabric that makes them who they are, that be it sports fans or fans who are looking in search of entertainment.
We're talking, of course, to Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne, and by the way, my wife's one celebrity crush. I do need to get that out there. And Mike, I've mentioned that to you.
Celebrity crush. Okay, yes. No, yeah, I'm no longer on that A-list now. Okay, that's good to know.
You are her celebrity crush. I'm just letting you know that. So we got to
introduce her to more people. We have to introduce her to more people.
So, but here I want to change topics for a moment because the NFL has announced a couple of things with regard to Tom Brady. First of all, he's been approved, I believe, as a partial owner of the Raiders. I think it's pending at this point, but now they're placing restrictions on him as an announcer because doesn't it seem to be a little bit contradictory to be in the booth as an announcer, as an analyst, and yet also be a partial partial owner of the Las Vegas Raiders? Yeah. Doesn't that seem to be a little bit of a conflict here?
It is, but excuse me, we've seen that. I've seen it in the NBA where Shaquille O'Neal had a piece of the Sacramento Kings. Dwayne Wade is involved, with the Utah Jazz, and he's going to be involved in ownership in the NBA. That you can make that work. I mean, let's face it, the Raiders aren't going to be a primetime team to watch. And Brady's been hired to be on the A team, so the A list is not going to be doing Raider games. And there's wiggle room there. And Brady's interest is not one of large proportion where he's making deals and trying to recruit players or anything along that line. They'll figure it out. You make a great point. There could be a hint of conflict, but I think in this situation, those things have already been internally addressed, and they'll get through it.
Yeah, I was seeing the restrictions, right, on what he can and can't say. Can't criticize the game, the referees, other owners, because that would be unbecoming. At the same time, he's getting paid $300 million to be a broadcaster.
Yeah. I think Tom Brady's smart enough to know what the boundaries are. And, most announcers are not overly critical of officiating, I mean, they may make light of a call that you wonder about, but I don't think that, you can put yourself in harm's way too much. And, let's face it, if an owner or somebody like that is critical of the league and is officiating, there's a thing called a fine. And, leagues are very sensitive about management and ownership making derogatory or questionable comments about their officials. So, if he goes one sentence too far, they'll fine him for it, and that'll send a message that they mean business.
Claibs, I want to ask you about just get your thoughts on an absolutely tragic event. I was brought to tears this morning. Johnny Gaudreau of the Columbus Blue Jackets, just a star player in the NHL, and his brother Matthew Gaudreau were in Philadelphia for their sister's wedding. They were both groomsmen. They were riding their bikes last night, in that area, or that Pennsylvania area, when a drunk driver tried to pass a couple of cars, hit both Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew, and killed them. The day before their sister's wedding, Johnny Gaudreau has a young family. The story just kept getting worse and more tragic.
Yeah, it's certainly unfortunate. There's no doubt about it. I got wind of it last night because he's from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with some friends, and their text, they got a text on what was going on. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it just goes to show you that, drinking and driving doesn't work. I mean, and to lose a person and two people, as you mentioned, a very dynamic hockey player, to the point where he had the title. I think he even got it copywritten where Johnny Hockey was his name. He was an incredible player out in Calgary. Decided to go to Columbus and help that team be a little bit better. They still need some work, but he was a very integral part of what their organization is all about. And his brother was a guy who was playing up and down in the minors. And, aside from hockey, just two people losing their lives due to a drunk driver is all you need to know and all you need to think about, because, obviously it was an accident, but it was one that could have been prevented.
Yeah. I have no patience for drunk drivers. I mean, and we always talk about it, so rarely is it that the driver making the horrible decision. Is it that person? Like, usually the driver walks away and they kill a family, a father, a child, a mother. And there is no excuse to drive drunk. Not that there ever was, but it's so easy to call an Uber. Don't even bring your keys to the bar if you know you're going to be drinking.
Yeah, and I think, and you're right, Amy, there's multiple ways to avoid that. I mean, with Uber, as you mentioned, leave your keys with the bartender and come back and get it tomorrow. I mean, and it also, the people that you're with, and I don't know who he was with, he may have been by himself, but friends, as they say, don't let friends drive drunk.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a couple of times where I've been out and with friends, and there's one of us may have had one too many. Hey, give me the keys. I got you. Or I'll take you home or whatever. There's a responsibility on that front as well, that, you hope that you have people who are thoughtful enough and caring enough that if you are in that situation, they can prevent even further damage. And unfortunately, that didn't happen last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Claves, I know it's such a sad note, but I know you've got work to do out in New York today. And I know we want to let you get back to that match with Coco Gauff. You talk about a celebrity crush. Yeah. She's awesome. I love her.
She is. And so Coco lives down the road from me in Florida, in Delray Beach, and got to know her parents over the years, and just a delightful young lady. And her parents they're not those tennis moms and dads or baseball moms and dads. They just enjoy watching their kid play. And they made a huge sacrifice moving from Atlanta to Florida, where she could get better training and coaching. And, think about it. She's not even 21.
Crazy.
And she's one of the best players in the game. And coming up next, we have Ben Shelton taking on Tiafoe.
Oh, nice.
I mean, two of the best athletes in tennis. And hopefully I can stay for part of that one as well, because that's the one that I think everybody's looking forward to. Unfortunately, it's so early in the tournament. Those guys should probably have been meeting in the quarterfinals or the semifinals, because they have that sort of skill set.
I can't believe Carlos Alcaraz got married. Yeah.
Yeah. And, the American presence is starting to make its way back to tennis. There's a lot. I think there's like 33 Americans in the tournament this year. And the problem is they're facing each other so early in the tournament that it'll be hard for them to break through and get to the finals or the semifinals. But you never know. This U.S. Open is unlike anything you have in tennis. I mean, this is the one everybody wants to be part of, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, the Cardinals and the Yankees are playing tonight. Let's not forget that.
No.
I'm looking forward to seeing Aaron Judge and what a season he's having. And, the Cardinals are playing a little bit better, obviously winning the last two. And we'll see what happens when they play the Yankees, who are in a playoff hunt themselves with the Baltimore Orioles. And the fact that seeing Aaron Judge in person is going to be fun to watch. And let's just hope we can keep him quiet for the next 3 days.
The life of Mike Claiborne, making me feel like a real fuddy-duddy and a loser because
no,
that's
you're not Fuddy or Duddy. You're all good. You're all good.
And as Claves mentioned, Cardinals at the New York Yankees. Game 1 of 3. Pre-game show with Matt Pauley starts at 5:10. First pitch, 6:05. Thanks, Claves.
All right, Ben, tell your wife I said thank you and best of luck to her and you and everybody else in St. Louis.
Perfect.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right,
that is Mike Claiborne live from the U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe Stadium. He's Brad Young. I'm Amy Mark Scores. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Sick of those annoying ads slowing you down online? Introducing i3 Broadband's 100% fiber optic network with advanced whole home Wi-Fi. With speeds up to 8 gigabits, buffering is so yesterday. Our rock-solid connection keeps you streaming, gaming, and browsing without a hitch, thanks to our ad blocking feature. No contracts, no hidden fees, just pure internet bliss. And we've got a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Dial 877-976-0711 or swing by i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and committed to St. Louis.
Drag racers, modern-day gladiators, pitting themselves against 300 pounds of grinding steel, battling each other in the power of 11,000 horses that run hot, risking it all for the thrill of the championship. Join us September 27th through 29th for the NHRA Midwest Nationals at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Join us for a weekend of action. Kids 12 and under get in free and general admission. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate Illinois.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Hey guys, Glover here to tell you about my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. So let me start this off very practically. If you hear me say carpet cleaning and you wonder to yourself, I wonder if my carpets need cleaned. Yes, the answer is yes, they absolutely do. Unless you've had a really good professional carpet cleaning business like Zero Res, clean your carpets in the last couple of years, you need it. And if you've never had it done, you need it pretty badly. I have good news. We have a great monthly deal for you. $119 will get you 3 rooms of carpeting pre-treated and Zero Res clean, which means until you're happy with a 30-day gotta love it guarantee. Remember that the air ducts in your home are basically the lungs of your home, and about 40 pounds, believe it or not, of dust and pet dander and dead skin cells and all the nastiness of the world gets in your house every year. All you have to do to take advantage of this is call 314-474-2020. We'll take 20% off the air duct cleaning, and again, $119 for 3 rooms of carpeting. Zero Res, spell it forward, spell it backwards. It always sounds the same. Zero Res.
We love to celebrate Labor Day weekend with family, friends, picnics, and parties. Please be safe this holiday weekend and don't drink and drive. From your friends at Odyssey and Onder Law Injury Lawyers.
I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry. You can too. Go to youridoc.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
I'm Maria Kina. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Brad Young, Amy Mark Scores alongside you. Okay, Brad, I have a question for you. This whole idea of legalizing sports betting in Missouri has been getting a lot of attention for the past, 2 years especially, but the parent company of Boston-based DraftKings, they just wrote a $3.5 million check to the Political Action Committee that is supporting the ballot initiative. What are your thoughts on this ever-going saga of sports betting?
Well, my first thought is that producer Matt Pajeski extraordinaire loves the bumper music of "You Better, You Better, You Bet," and he was thinking I didn't catch that, but I did. But no, about the topic here, though, here's what to me is interesting. First of all, we can all agree that betting is not the best use of our resources, but 38 states have legalized sports betting. Missouri was, quote, missing out, whatever that means, in terms of the sports betting market. And so this was inevitable. But here's my question. Remember, going back to when we legalized casinos, the whole issue in the 90s about legalizing casinos was, oh my goodness, it's all going to be for the children. It's all for the children. It's for the children. We need to do this for the children. I mean, we must have heard for the children 1,000 times every time we were pitched about the casinos. So the casinos come in, the casinos pay a lot in taxes, and yet are our schools any better today than they were before the casinos were legalized? The answer is no, because the problem isn't a revenue problem. The problem is what government, state government in this instance, does with the money. So fast forward to 2024. Now we're being told, oh my goodness, we need to legalize sports betting because it's for the children. The money's going to go to education. But unless we get some serious reforms in Jeff City about guaranteeing that this money will be in addition to what we're already paying for our schools, this is going to be no different than casino gambling, where it's just another opportunity for folks to lose money without necessarily making it any better for our schools or for our state. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, personally, I think that sports gambling will inevitably be passed in every state. There's billions and billions of dollars. I think it's a greater vice for the society than it is a benefit, a greater cost, I should say, than a benefit. We know that, the money going to the schools for the casinos, that didn't really pan out. But then also, I think Baylor University, they just did a study looking at the cost to society of one gambling addiction. The average is $10,000 taxpayer money for each gambling addiction that then needs to be dealt with. Plus bankruptcies, sometimes there's addiction, family issues that go along with it. I do think it's going to pass. Inevitable. I'm not thrilled about it, but it is going to pass.
It is.
He's Brad Young. I'm Amy Mark Scores. We continue our salute to the trades next with Mike Whitcraft, automotive maintenance instructor and coordinator with Toyota T10 program and the Rankin Car Club. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyond's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
At 12 noon, we've got sunshine. It is 90 degrees downtown at the Arch. This newscast is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story, a day after about a half dozen underground explosions forced a St. Louis building to evacuate, the search for answers begins.
I'm outside the Procter & Gamble plant where yesterday explosions underground inside the sewer system blew the lid off of manhole covers on their campus. Now, today, Metropolitan Sewer District has begun investigating into the explosion, trying to figure out what the liquid is down there. They hope to have some answers later today, but they couldn't make any promises on a timeline. Apparently, they're having a hard time getting a person all the way down to where that liquid had settled in the sewer system. Outside the Procter & Gamble plant in St. Louis City, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, set for their first interview of the campaign.
It was an exclusive interview with CNN, and it covered a wide range of issues, including whether Harris would change U.S. policy toward Israel.
I remained committed since I've been on October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution, where Israel is secure and in equal measure, the Palestinians have security and self-determination and dignity.
Harris also said as president she would not ban fracking, even as she remains committed to green energy policies. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Former President Donald Trump is facing criticism from conservatives over his comments to NBC, where he pledged to make either the government or insurance companies pay for IVF treatments. CBS's Jake Rosen is in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
I spoke up and down the line of people who were here hours early to hear the former president talk, and some of them said that they were supportive of whatever Donald Trump said, but some of them said that they were not wanting the federal government to get involved just on this IVF issue. Some of his supporters are parroting that it should be left strictly to the states, and the federal government should have nothing to do with it.
Anderson Hospital in Maryville, Illinois is a busy place these days.
So busy it has posted a peak census alert on social media. Anderson Hospital spokespeople say the alert was posted proactively to ask the community for an abundance of patients when they visit their emergency room at this time. The increase isn't due to any single issue, but rather a variety of different illnesses. Anderson says it's not the only hospital in the area currently experiencing a surge. The bottom line, they say, is to let patients know they could experience longer wait times as the hospital manages the current high volume of patients. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The highest court in Maryland has reinstated the murder conviction against Adnan Syed.
The Maryland Supreme Court ruled that the hearing that freed Adnan Syed from prison 2 years ago violated the legal rights of the victim's family and are ordering the case back in circuit court now for a redo, reinstating Syed's conviction.
This is a Global Tel Link prepaid call from
Adnan Syed.
The ongoing legal battle was the center of the hit podcast Serial, which aired more than a decade after he was convicted of killing his high school ex-girlfriend. Syed is allowed to remain free pending the new hearing. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The KMOX Business Desk. When is it too hot to work?
The public comment period for proposed new federal workplace heat stress prevention rules begins today. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration is taking comments for the next 120 days. OSHA is proposing that employers be required to provide relief, including cool break areas and water for workers when the temperature is 80 degrees or higher. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 40 points to 41,294. Crash on 70 going west at 270. The left lane is closed.
For this afternoon and evening, it'll be hot and humid with clouds and sun. Strong thunderstorms crossing the area can bring flash flooding and damaging winds. We'll have a high of 97. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. We've got 90 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
Final hour of the Chris and Amy Show with you on a Friday. Brad Young sitting in for Chris Ranji, who is on assignment. And allegedly, people are saying Brad Young's got a lot of opinions coming up in the next hour. And we would love to hear from you as well on the Odyssey app. You can go to the KMOX main page on the Odyssey app. There's a microphone icon. Click on that. Leave us a voice message. You can also text 314-436-7900. Whew, that was a close one. Well, right now we are saluting the trades. This is our final day. We've had a Salute the Trades week leading up to Labor Day. And let's say this. Yesterday, we were talking about plumbing and how plumbing keeps the world going. And I don't care how fancy schmancy you think you are or how important your business is. If the toilet's not working, your world stops. And now we're going to the other huge issue for me, which is when my car doesn't work. I just need my car to get me where I'm going. I can't stand car trouble. And the people who help me to keep going, like survive, are the automotive maintenance workers. And Mike Whitcraft is just that, an automotive maintenance instructor. He's also a coordinator with Toyota T10 program and the Rankin Car Club. And Mike, if it weren't for you and all of the automotive workers, I would be in big, big trouble. I'd be stuck all the time.
Yeah, I think I would be too. It's definitely a valuable skill to have for a lot of people.
So tell us about the Toyota T10 program. What is the Toyota T10?
Toyota T10 is one of the programs that we have here at Rankin that's in partnership with automotive manufacturers. So Toyota T10 is backed by Toyota, and they give us a lot of resources. And as a community, a nationwide community of instructors, we create curriculum in order to prepare students to go work at Toyota and Lexus dealers.
Well, Mike, Brad Young here. I've got a question for you because when I grew up in Southern Illinois, my dad was kind of a shade tree mechanic, and I knew a lot of shade tree mechanics. And yet today, the days of the shade tree mechanics, aren't they pretty much gone because of the computerized nature of most vehicles today?
I mean, yeah, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for the people that would just figure out how to get something to just work right. There's an awful lot of thinking outside the box that happened in those days. Nowadays, unfortunately, it's not really the case. The special tools, the equipment, the computerized systems on all the cars, it goes hand in hand with a lot of really specialized training to be able to utilize those tools. I tell my students pretty regularly when they come in and their history is like working in the garage with a parent, and I'm like, cars nowadays are really just like 50 computers with wheels underneath them. And so it definitely is a different skill set than it used to be.
That's so interesting that you make that point. My grandpa, was always in the garage. He always kind of smelled like gasoline. His fingers were always stained with motor oil. He always had KMOX on in the background on his radio on the workbench, and he would work on World War II Jeeps, like putting them together and putting the engines
really
together.
cool.
And it was so cool. Is there still a place for that? If you love doing that, if you are that garage, that old school garage mechanic, what can you do to still really scratch that itch?
I think there is definitely a place for that, because like anything, there's the necessity level where we all have our cars that we have to get back and forth to work, and it's a tool that we use to run our lives. But there's always the enthusiast level where you get the weird stuff like the old Jeeps or the classic muscle cars, or even if you want to go super advanced, the weird exotic stuff. All of that definitely still requires that out of the box problem solving kind of reasoning. So there's still very much a place for that type of mechanic.
We're talking to Mike Whitcraft. He is an automotive maintenance instructor, obviously affiliated with Rankin Car Club. And Mike, my other question here is this: from the perspective of the user of automobiles, you just talked about how cars today are 50 computers with wheels, right? You just said that. So from the perspective of the consumer, of the user, of the driver of vehicles who are not an expert in this like you are, what's the most beneficial thing that car drivers can do to try to improve the length of the life of their vehicle, to reduce the amount of breakdowns? What can we do to make your job easier?
I think there's simpler understandings of maintenance procedures. Maybe read your manual. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. You get this big book with the car you bought, and then you immediately put it in the glove box and you never get it out again. But it does tell you really important information about maintenance schedules for your car, the type of fluids it takes, the things you should be checking when you put gas in your car, how often you should check the air in your tires. There's a lot of simple things that can be done from a consumer level to just kind of keep a pulse really on how your car's doing. If there's a new noise, don't turn the radio up. Go see somebody that might be able to look at that. There's definitely an attention, I think, that people who are not car enthusiasts just kind of, they treat it like a tool, and it's just supposed to get them to work. And when it does that, great. But when it doesn't, they don't have any skills available to just kind of get a basic understanding of what might be going on. Beyond that, though, there's a lot of maintenance that is outside the realm of people who have no interest and no tools to work on cars.
Well, Mike, you mentioned about the noise that a car makes, and what is it about car repair guys? Because every time my car makes a noise and I bring it in for maintenance, they get in it and then they say, "Well, I'm not hearing it now." So is there just this massive amount of deafness in car repair guys? Are you guys having OSHA problems in terms of decibel levels? Because when I bring my car in and it's making noise, the car guys, fix-it guys, never seem to hear them.
It is almost the opposite effect of what I just was talking about, being in tune with your car. You could be doing maintenance on your own car, but if you were to take your car to me, you drive your car every single day. Mm-hmm. And if you're paying any attention at all, if it makes some weird new little noise one time on a Tuesday with a full moon, you pick up on that. And then you bring it to the mechanic, and of course it's not doing it, or of course we don't hear it. It's this weird effect that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Is it the car shows up and I'm like, I don't know. I want to fix your car, but I don't really know what's wrong with it. Just part of the process, unfortunately.
Mike didn't know this was going to be a real gotcha interview.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't feel attacked. I totally relate.
I know one time I had this noise, and every time I turned in my car, it was like metal screeching on metal, like coming from the inside. I was like, and it was high pitched and faint. And then I'd turn again, So I take it in and I'm like, this is the noise it's making. And they're like, okay. And I told them it's mainly on turns. And they said, okay. So they call me back hours later when the car's ready. And I knew it was bad. I knew it was a bad sign when as I come back to the car shop, all of the auto mechanics are like lined up, standing at the garage door. And so I get in the car with the mechanic. He's like, I just want to drive around the parking lot here. And I want you to tell me, is this the sound? And we drive and it goes, eh. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then he pops open the sunglasses holder on the ceiling. And apparently I had a pair of sunglasses that were just sliding back and forth.
Yeah.
And he told me, and this is why I even love auto mechanics more. He goes, you don't have to go back inside if you don't want. And I go, I don't want to.
That's a good mechanic, though. Coming from a place of understanding, sat with you to figure out exactly the noise and tried not to make you feel bad. But I can guarantee you that was probably a little bit of snickering that happened later in the job. But it happens. People drive around, they'll come in and they'll complain about rattling noises, and I get in the car and all I hear is the cup full of loose change. So driving with the customer is definitely really important.
Before we let you go, Mike, I do want to ask you about with automotive maintenance workers. What is the demand or expected demand going to be in the coming years, and how does that compare with the supply that we have of automotive maintenance workers?
Oh, man, Rankin turns out a lot of graduates, but we are playing catch up for sure. The demand is huge, and I don't see it getting lower. Technicians that go into the field now are in such a great spot for an amazing career that pays really well, just because that demand is so incredibly high. Training, certifications, using all different kinds of equipment, and the experience from programs that do internships, kind of like Rankin does. That stuff really sets people up nowadays for a great career. And I do not see that changing in the future.
Yeah, it's just like we were saying, why we wanted to acknowledge and appreciate all of the craftsmen and the trades workers, the maintenance workers who really keep America going day in and day out, and there is nothing more immediate, like I said, than when your car breaks or your toilet breaks. Life stops. I mean, life really does stop. Yeah. So grateful for everyone who is keeping this country moving. Mike Whitcraft, automotive maintenance instructor. He's also the coordinator with the Toyota T10 program. Quick note, what does the Rankin Car Club do?
Well, I talked about enthusiasts, right?
Yep.
So students are enthusiasts too. So any program at any campus on Rankin, they're welcome to join the car club. You don't have to have a really cool car. You just have to enjoy cars. We get together, we go racing. We got project cars. We go out and do community outreach stuff. We go to local events. It's a great time. If anybody's interested in going to Rankin, part of the admission process, ask about the car club and they'll point you in the right direction. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love it. Mike Whitcraft, automotive maintenance instructor. Thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you both. You have a good one.
You too. That is Mike Whitcraft as we continue the Chris and Amy show saluting the trades week leading up to this Labor Day weekend.
Well, Amy, I got to tell you, your sound that you made in your car, it sounded a lot like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. When he needed some oil, you were going...
100%.
It sounded just like that.
It's like he was my passenger with me in spirit. That is Brad Young. Hey, it's opinion time for you, Brad Young. When we come back, there's a lot of issues that I know we'll be chatting about. But I do want to let everyone know that if you're tired of the money in your checking account just sitting there, not working for you, not doing anything, you need to talk with our friends at Together Credit Union because they've just launched a brand new high-yield checking account called Empowered Checking. Now, with Empowered Checking, you earn above-market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. So, yes, you get above-market interest. That interest is paid to you each month. So it's quite literally a checking account that rewards you for balances and not just activity. To apply, visit togethercu.org or you can stop by any one of their awesome 14 local St. Louis branches. There's got to be one close to you. You can work directly with one of their member advocates who will let you know everything you need to know and answer any of your questions. Get paid to save with Empowered Checking. Visit togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Tune in to the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
KMOX, your go-to for family-friendly discussions of topics that matter to you. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Amy, what you wanna do?
I'm Amy Mark Scores. Across from me is Brad Young. And Brad, we have talked a lot about campus protests, what's free speech, what's not free speech, time, place, manner, and all of that. Here's a big one for you that I want to get your opinion on. The University of Maryland is going to allow an on-campus protests by the Students for Justice in Palestine, on the anniversary of Hamas, the terrorist organization Hamas, October 7th terror attack on Israel, where 1,200 people were brutally murdered, tortured, mutilated, and raped. And this is an anti-Israel group, the SJP. They have set up 15,000 flags on campus to, quote, honor the 150,000 martyrs who have lost their lives within the past year. Okay, so calling the Hamas terrorist martyr is then also bumping up the number to 150,000, knowing that the health ministry in Gaza, which is run by Hamas, their numbers are questionable. They have it at 40,000. So the SJP is saying, well, they can't keep up. It's 150,000. This is going to happen on campus. Is this something that campuses should allow?
Well, is it something that campuses should allow? The answer is no. Is this something that campuses can allow, or can they do so legally? Yes, but within certain parameters. Let me give you a great example. And there's several points here I want to make on this topic. And that is, let's talk about the legality. The Students for Justice in Palestine, part of their organization, advocates for the destruction of Israel. If you advocate for the destruction of Israel, that is on its face anti-Semitic. And under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, it bars federal funds from being spent to encourage discrimination. So if you're going to allow a group to talk about the destruction of the state of Israel, that in of itself violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, because federal money is everywhere on a college campuses. Every part of a college campus is in part funded by federal money, whether it's student loans or direct benefits from the federal government. So right now we've got a Title VII violation. But secondly, and I think even more importantly from a policy standpoint, Amy, this organization is going to be basically praising a terrorist organization that, as you've accurately said, that killed, murdered, and raped Israeli citizens on October 7th. Now, let's put this in a different context. Same kind of facts, but a different context. Would any university today allow a student organization to burn crosses on campus to celebrate the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.? And the answer is, of course not. There's not a single college campus in America that would say it's okay for the Ku Klux Klan student organization to come and burn crosses to celebrate the assassination of Martin Luther King. But how is this any different? They're going to be celebrating the assassination of Israeli citizens. They're going to be celebrating the rape of Israeli citizens. They're going to be celebrating the kidnapping of both Israeli and American citizens. So why is one allowed and the other is not, when the facts are almost exactly the same? That's the problem that I have with this selective enforcement on university campuses, because campuses are only allowing groups to protest when they agree with those groups. And I know I'm on a rant here, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I was going to say, let's carry this over after the news, because I've got more questions. I know we've got like a minute left before the news. So let's go straight up to the free speech, where you can say awful, racist things, anti-Semitic things, like on a street corner, right? Like on a public property, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And in fact, the First Amendment protects hate speech.
Right.
As vile as it may be, it protects it.
And what makes this legally not clean is that there is federal funding at that campus. So it's not like it is a public square.
Exactly. And it doesn't allow for campouts for 24 hours a day and ordering pizza all through the night in order to support your protest. That is not covered under First Amendment.
All right. Well, I've got more time, place, manner questions as well, because I know that a recent poll from American Jewish students on campus, so many of them are feeling threatened, intimidated, that they can't go to places on campus. I want to get your legal opinion on that as well. He's Brad Young of Harris Dowell Fisher & Young. I'm Amy Markscores. We'll continue the conversation after the news. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121. Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt. If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
12:30, sunshine and 92 downtown at the Arch. Labor Day weekend is the end of the summer holiday season for many. Millions of people are on the move. Severe weather could impact some travelers. Weather Channel and former KSDK meteorologist Paul Goodlow.
The severe weather across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, that could definitely put a monkey wrench in your travel plan. So afternoon, evening, nighttime flights, look for some delays. If you're flying across the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, expect a bumpy ride for nervous flyers here, so make sure that seatbelt is on and tight.
Cardinals baseball, they secure a series split against the Padres yesterday, winning 4-1. San Diego took the first two games of the series before the Cardinals come back with wins in games 3 and 4. Sonny Gray threw 6 strong innings, giving up just 1 run. Mason Wynn hitting a solo home run. Ryan Helsley grabs his 41st save. Tonight, the Cardinals are going to match up against the Yankees on the road. Eric Fetty on the mound, 8-7, 3.31 ERA, 6:05 first pitch. Our coverage begins at 5:10. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Forecast heat advisory till 6 p.m. today with a high of 97 for tonight, low 73. We've got a chance of thunderstorms, and for tomorrow, high temperature 85. Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Chances are you have a lot of people who depend on you, your family, maybe even employees. Life insurance from Penn Mutual can provide you peace of mind and protect the most important people in your life. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. It's 92 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
The pitch.
Do you dream about calling Cardinals games?
Goldschmidt swings and he hits.
If so, the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum is for you. Learn about play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and working with pro athletes from the best broadcasters in the business. John Rooney, Chip Carey, Rick Horton, Brad Thompson, and more. The Sportscasters Forum is Thursday, September 19th at Live by Lowe's. Tickets include 3 educational sessions, lunch, and a ticket to that evening's Cardinals game. For details, go to MissouriBroadcasters.org.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people, and much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2024. Save 60%. Code 2024. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Saturdays are made for soccer.
Parker elevated now ahead, and it's in! City lead!
Catch St. Louis City SC soccer anywhere you go on the Odyssey app.
Oh, Roman Berkey, a huge save! Oh, Roman Berkey!
Saturdays are made for soccer. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Together Credit Union, the exclusive banking partner of City SC and Academy of the Sacred Heart. Independent Sacred Heart education since 1818. Bernie Nicholas joins the Chris and Amy Show Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:35 on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Brad Young, Amy Mark Scores with you as we continue our discussion about the University of Maryland, which will be allowing a Students for Justice in Palestine protest/celebration. Yes, celebrating the anniversary of Hamas, the terrorist organization, their attack on Israel on October 7th. Hamas, a recognized terrorist organization. I cannot stress enough how they brutalized, murdered, raped, mutilated, and tortured Israeli citizens, took them hostage, as well as American citizens that they took hostage. And this is where I feel like I had said this before, and I knew the whole time, all of these pro-Palestinian protesters, well, not all of them are pro-terror, right? And a lot of people have no idea what from the river to the sea means. And I was like, okay, I'm sure there are some people here at these protests that don't know that from the river to the sea means the eradication of Israel, that it no longer exists, that it has no right to exist, right? Maybe they don't recognize the Hamas flags or the ISIS flags. Maybe they didn't realize that when some of the protesters were chanting death to America, that they meant it, or burning American flags or Israeli flags. We do know that these massive protests, especially the encampments, there is money going from Iran to help fund these protests on American campuses. It is so offensive to me that you would have all of these students they're not saying, okay, we're going to march because we don't want innocent Palestinians killed, but pro-Hamas, celebrating what they're calling freedom fighters, these terrorists who, by the way, hate America, hate anything that has to do with LGBT rights. Like, there was a sign, it said Queers for Palestine. They would be killed by Hamas.
Yes,
if you like democracy, you will be killed by Hamas.
Yes.
There was a show that was like, oh, here's a game show, to make a political point. It was called Does Hamas Want You Dead? It's like, do you believe in democracy? Sorry, Hamas wants you dead. Do you believe in the rights, in trans rights, or that gay people should be able to live? Sorry, Hamas wants you dead. So again, this is beyond a pro-Palestinian, we don't want innocent people killed. This is now a pro-Hamas event. And as you mentioned, it's on University of Maryland campus, which has federal funds. What would make an event like this legal? What would make it a legal First Amendment demonstration, offensive and disgusting though it may be?
Right. With all of those qualifications, and you mentioned it briefly before the break, Amy, and that is under Supreme Court precedent, going all the way back to Brandenburg versus Ohio, there are time, manner, and place restrictions that are allowable on free speech. So what do I mean by that? You can have a protest. You can say the most vilest things that you want to say, but it doesn't mean you get to say it at 3 a.m. with a bullhorn. It doesn't mean that you get to say it on a public campus, on a university, in an encampment that you get to occupy the quad for days and weeks. You don't get to say that in conjunction with destruction of property. So let me give you an example in a different area. Ferguson, just a couple of weeks ago, It would be okay to have a march to honor Michael Brown. It's not okay to try to destroy the fencing and the gates for the purpose of storming the police department to burn it down. That is not encompassed under free speech. So if these individuals, the Students for Justice in Palestine, want to talk about that we support Hamas, that is within their free speech rights to do so. However, and we just dealt with this on a court case, Amy, just 2 weeks ago in California, because a judge ruled, I believe it was on August the 14th, that UCLA had an affirmative duty, a legal duty under Title VII, to stop and to shut down the pro-Palestinian protests at the point that they were blocking areas of campus from Jews. They had Jew-free zones on the college campus at UCLA. If you wanted to go to the library and you were Jewish, you had to renounce your faith and renounce the right of Israel to exist to go into the library. UCLA took the position, hey, that's not us doing that. We don't have any duty or responsibility to stop that behavior. And a court ruled otherwise. The court said, no, you have an affirmative duty to stop the intentional discrimination against Jewish students on your property. So free speech is fine. Having no Jew zones is not fine. Forcing people to renounce their faith is not encompassed within the First Amendment.
And I also think it shows that a person is a profound idiot, intellectually lazy, or purposefully ignorant if you can't tell the difference between the Israeli government and an American Jewish student who has nothing to do with the Israeli government. 44% of Jewish students in America report never feeling safe identifying as Jewish at their school. This is a new study of American Jewish students. 55% were physically threatened because they are Jewish, or they know someone who was threatened because they were Jewish. And 78% of students and graduates say they avoid certain places, events, and situations at their school because they are Jewish. And again, the students who are recognizing or looking for other Jewish students and blocking them from class or intimidating them, like at Cooper Union University in New York, where the Jewish students had to lock themselves in the library and were encouraged to hide in closets because of pro-Palestinian protesters. Again, you can feel the way you want about the Israeli government, but you are a profound idiot, or you are intellectually lazy or purposefully ignorant if you don't understand an American Jewish student has nothing to do with what's going on with the Israeli government, whether you disagree with it or not.
But Amy, the problem that I have is, of course, there's going to be stupid people and there's crazy people, and we know that. But to have a university that condones this type of behavior, to me, is beyond reprehensible. So if you look at that UCLA example, the university has appealed the decision that the lower court ruled upon on August the 14th that said that university has a duty to stop intentional discrimination against Jewish Americans by Palestinian protesters. They're appealing that decision. They're appealing it, saying the judge is wrong for making us responsible to stop active discrimination against Jews on campus, and UCLA is appealing. And when you look at this University of Maryland situation, they're allowing people to chant from the river to the sea. They're allowing people and will allow people to have Jew-free zones. And to me, for a university to do that, for our tax dollars to support the intentional discrimination against Jewish Americans in America in the 21st century is reprehensible in of itself.
Do you think it is a fundamental misunderstanding of what the First Amendment is or how it applies? Because like we said, the ACLU even warns prospective workers, right, at the ACLU, like, hey, you might have to defend some really reprehensible speech, right? Because the First Amendment protects gross speech. Is this willful ignorance? Is it not understanding what First Amendment is with the time, place, manner? How have we messed this up?
I think it's a misunderstanding. One of the greatest examples, I think, of understanding was in 1978 when there were protests going on in Skokie, Illinois, by the Ku Klux Klan, and the ACLU actually gave Jewish lawyers to Ku Klux Klan members to allow them to spew their vile speech in a civil march in Skokie, Illinois. That demonstrates that speech, even though it's hate speech, it's still protected and they have the right to give that speech. But that does not veer into a right of unlimited speech at any time. It doesn't go into unlimited speech in any place or unlimited speech in any manner. And having no Jew zones is not free speech under any circumstances. And occupying and destroying public property on universities is not encompassed within the First Amendment. So it's a fundamental misunderstanding, Amy, of what the First Amendment means and how it's applied.
He is Brad Young of Harris Dowell Fisher and Young. I'm Amy Mark Scores. Well, let's see what we can do for the final segment, Brad, coming up in just a couple minutes to kick off Friday and our Labor Day weekend. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as is condition. Did you just inherit a house and you're not sure what to do with it? Maybe it's got a lot of stuff in there and you're really not sure what to do with the stuff and how to sell the house. Well, we do a lot of work with people that inherited property. We're very familiar with the probate courts. So if you have a house you just inherited, please reach out today. We'd love to make you an offer and simplify your real estate situation. KLAMEN Group.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Join the movement to end breast cancer on October 19th. By supporting the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer, you're helping save lives through groundbreaking research discovery and patient support. Get info or donate at makingstrideswalk.org/St. Louis Mo.
I'm Dave Glover. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Brad Young, Amy Mark Scores with you on a final time on this Friday before we turn it over to the Dave Glover Show. Brad, you sent me this story about a finger gun and a 10-year-old who was expelled. Yes. What in the world is going on?
Well, first of all, in terms of full disclosure, many people have given me the finger over the years. I'm just... That is not what we're talking about.
Okay, not the one finger salute.
No. I in fact, I had somebody tell me one time, they gave me that symbol and I said, that's very nice of you. I think you're number one as well.
Real quick, but isn't the finger gun though, isn't what Joe Biden used to do behind Barack Obama? Wasn't that the double finger gun? He'd be like, hey.
Well, was it? Yeah, was it that, or was it Saturday Night Live making fun of him doing the finger gun?
I don't remember.
I kind of more remember the SNL parody of him with the finger guns than I do. But this is a story that comes out of Tennessee.
Okay.
And what happens is a 10-year-old was expelled from school for an entire year after he pointed his finger that was in the shape of a gun and made a mocking machine gun noise. And he was expelled because they have a zero tolerance policy.
For finger guns? A zero tolerance policy for what?
Yeah, because there's so many mass shootings that happen from finger guns.
Is that what this goes back to?
Yes, because they have this school, and I think a lot of schools have this, where they have a zero tolerance policy for any threat of mass violence. And so the school interpreted this 10-year-old boy from when he made a finger gun and made the noise of a machine gun, that was a threat of mass violence. And they have a zero tolerance policy. Now, I always have a name for zero tolerance policies.
Mm-hmm.
I call it zero common sense policies, because really what they're designed to do is to take common sense and making a judgment out of the decision-making process, because anybody can know that if a kid is making a finger gun and goes that he's not threatening mass violence. Now, if he brings a real gun to school, obviously that's different. But I mean, are we going to also include in that how many kids did you shoot with a rubber band? You put a rubber band on your finger and you shoot it at your friends. Are we going to expel kids for that? Of course not. But that's the problem with zero tolerance, and we can laugh at it, and it is funny. But, this kid's out of school for a year.
Yeah, it does seem like we are more and more losing our ability to make meaningful distinctions when assessing a situation or having an argument or a discussion. And it does take out common sense, because I would think that context matters, intent matters. And I guess people just don't, like you said, want to deal with it. I don't... I mean, you think of all the issues that schools have been dealing with. If it's a 10-year-old and if he has no history of violent behavior and all of that, I mean, my goodness, I think I'm trying to think of like the double finger gun, like Phil Hartman, like, hey.
Well, I had something happen when my daughters were younger.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 girls, and one of my girls was in grade school, and they had a free break because they got done with their assignment. This is in grade school.
Mm-hmm.
She got done with her assignment, and in her free time, she drew a picture of a Christmas tree. And a substitute teacher came and took it from her, wadded it up, and said, you cannot do that here. We are not allowed. That violates our policy with regard to exhibits of religiosity or something along those lines. And so she destroyed it because a Christmas tree in her mind was the same thing as proclaiming a religion or talking about Jesus in school. Now, my wife said, Brad, do not get involved in this.
I can see your wife going, oh no.
I was gearing up. I was ready to go. But it does point out, and so I didn't do anything other than I think I made a complaint to the principal. I said, I don't think a Christmas tree equates with passing out tracts at school. But my point being, though, is that our schools, like you pointed out, our school systems apparently have lost this ability to say, we can have a zero tolerance policy about school. We can have a zero tolerance policy about establishing a religion, but that doesn't mean that we punish kids for drawing Christmas trees. That doesn't mean we punish children for making a finger gun or shooting a rubber band, because that's not the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I think this will make you happy because you are, of course, filling in for Chris Ranji. Not a proxy, though. Not a proxy. You are not representative of his worldview.
Absolutely not. I am not here as a proxy.
But did you hear of his new platform? And it's what you were just talking about with Christmas and the Christmas tree. Chris Ranji has a new platform. He is going to unveil it officially this season. Liberals for Christmas.
Really?
Yes, liberals for Christmas. He's
for him.
So excited. This guy, for everything that, man, you just think this guy's the worst in the world, he really endears himself to you. He keeps himself adorable by loving Christmas. Did you know when he was a kid on Halloween, he dressed up as a Christmas tree?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad he didn't go to my daughter's school or they would have kicked him out.
Well, that's why he is Chris Ranji. He says it's a super PAC, Liberals for Christmas. He wants to support that. Hey, speaking of holidays, it is the Labor Day weekend. Anything going on at the Young family household for Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, and I feel particularly inspired for Labor Day because I love to cook on the grill. And so I do that, but my grill, my Weber grill, I used it a lot. And so last weekend I had to completely gut it, replace all the parts because I completely worn it out. And so I did all of that, and I'm looking forward to this weekend to try out all the new parts of the grill. But the risk there. We got like 20 some odd people coming to our house on Monday.
You can't try something new with 20
And my
people.
wife said, Brad, if this doesn't work, you're toast.
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, I know. So, my reputation is literally on the line. If the grill doesn't work this weekend, I may be looking for someone's couch.
Well, can I ask what meats are you grilling?
Oh yeah, we're going to be cooking actual steak, hamburgers, and hot dogs for the kids, and I'll probably throw some chicken on there in case somebody doesn't want beef.
Oh, that's good. Well, I just I hope you don't ruin it for everyone. That would be the worst.
Listen, I'm an Eagle Scout, right? And so on my gas grill, I am so redundant and repetitive that I have 3 canisters of propane. So if one goes out, I've got a backup. And if the backup goes out, I've got another backup just to make sure that things go well.
That's smart. That is smart. He's a smart man. Hey, happy Labor Day to everyone. Michael Kelly, by the way, who was in the studio with us this morning, his dad started the St. Louis Labor Day Parade.
Did not know that.
Yep. He said Labor Day, his dad was the head of the AFL-CIO, said Labor Day was like Christmas Day for the Kelly family. He's Brad Young of Harris, Dow, Fisher & Young. Thank you so much for filling in for the absent Chris Ranji.
My pleasure, Amy, as always.
Thank you to Braxton Payne and Michael Kelly for joining us this morning. I hope everyone has a happy Labor Day. Hey, I'll stick around for a little bit longer on the Dave Glover Show. You've been listening to The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. WashU cross country team, right? So you see like 20 guys that are like healthy skeletons. I don't know how to describe it.
They are healthy skeletons.
When you come to Diamonds Direct,